everyone. So this is Ava.
Ava!
She's going to share a little bit of her story. She's the person whose face is on the flyer. So Ava, everyone, Ava.
Yay.
So, I appreciate Monica for preparing all of this for us and for her passion in our efforts to put the word out and truth in regard to homelessness. So I'm here as an advocate to say we do need mental health services in addiction. Most of the people that are homeless have these issues. And we can look at research and we can look at statistics, but we know that it all comes down to a person's mental well-being, and those that struggle with drugs need our help. I'm here to tell you that because I have treatment today, that I'm healthier now. I'm not taking drugs. I'm involved in the Marijuana Anonymous program. I'm also involved still in Harborview Mental Health. And I have my family back. So, in closing, I was stuck in this cycle of homelessness. Why? Because housing and warehousing was emphasized over treatment. So we must begin to treat the root cause of homelessness. Simply giving people a shack won't do it. Even giving them housing won't keep them out of homelessness. So let's work together, continue to work together to strive to be an advocate for people who are less, have a less disposition than we do. And there are those who can vouch for what I'm saying, and there are those who have not been in that place. But we all can make a difference. So thank you.
All right, everyone. I think we're gonna get ready to go outside and clean up some things. Zile is gonna just tell us like a real brief something. He has a different experience. He was also homeless. He wants to just share a little bit right before we go out, and then we're gonna head out and clean things. Hooray!
So I'm sort of a millennial, so I use my phone for my notes. So I apologize, my look is strange. So as you all know, I suppose, I'm Zelias Kanani, and I grew up homeless from the time I was 4 to about 22. Now, as mentioned earlier by Roger, some people are homeless because of mental health issues or drugs, but then some people are homeless because of an economic reason. And my family was homeless purely for an economic reason. So we were homeless for a long time, and during this time, we lived in cars, shelters, transitional houses, and even homeless campers in this area. So down in just south of Seattle. And much like the tiny shacks that Seattle is trying to pursue today. These were generally self-managed, absolutely no oversight from the city. And one family who was there the longest, 3 years roughly, basically controlled everything. Your job on the site, your housing on the site, who was allowed to stay, and food resources. So what do you think might happen if one person was in charge of a large group of people and had control over all of that with no oversight? Anybody?
Chaos.
Chaos?
Egalitarian.
Abuse.
Yeah, corruption would happen. In fact, we were also in charge of enforcing the rules, so that's another issue. So, of course, no drugs and alcohol were allowed, although you weren't able to really tell just by looking at the place. Almost everyone there were visually on drugs, scabs, scratching, the outward signs. And one sketchy man was allowed to stay until he took advantage of a minor while there, who was part of my family. And fights broke out, and the instigators were removed. And one woman was forced to leave for some reason. and it was very minor. And I remember that because I had to help intimidate her into leaving. There was in fact an intimidation squad or team that was in charge of forcing people from the encampment. So there was garbage, there were strange smells, and there were rats the size of house cats. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, a little louder.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, but other than that, it was actually a pretty good place. If you wanted to be homeless and stay homeless, that's where you went. Pre-prepared meals once a week from a local church, a storage room full of canned foods and essentials for residents. Everyone got food stamps. You could sell your food stamps. And there was a honey bucket, though I'm not sure who paid for that. And a bus stop right outside, and we knew how to get free rides. Career homeless people, I'd say. People who were kicked out generally moved not far away, across the street usually, and then they trashed the area they were in. And I say all that to say this: Seattle's current programs are all that, but worse. Imagine all of that, and but more comfortable, more private, better funded, and funded by tax dollars. These programs focus on making homelessness comfortable instead of giving people the skills they need to get out of the homeless cycle. And so think about that, making homelessness comfortable. Does that make sense? So the goal Ed Murray put forth in 2015 was to make homelessness rare, brief, and one time. But turning encampments into homeless hotels will only make homelessness abundant, extended, and a recurring issue for individuals. Murray was focused on solving the problem by giving homeless people tools to regain housing quickly, but in a lot of cases, that's not the problem. That's not the solution. Anybody, and I say anybody, but in my experience, most people can get housing quickly. And I've seen, again, in my family, people in my family do it countless times with nothing more than what the state gives them in assistance, with food stamps and the monetary assistance. The problem is homeless people are broken people, each with their own story and their own reasons why they're homeless. And you can give them housing, but they won't know how to keep it. So shallow assembly line solutions will not solve the variety of deep-rooted problems. So we can't focus on helping people. Rather, we need to focus on helping a person, and then another person, and another person. We can't be lazy with our solutions because that's what we have been doing for a long time. And I say we, but in Seattle, people from the top. So we need to make a change because it's not working. And to illustrate the issue, here's a little anecdote. So I was going through school for free, getting my first degree. And I was given this opportunity with at least 100 other kids. By the 5th week, half of those kids were gone. And it was free for them too. By the end of the quarter, 2/3 were gone. And then I became a tutor and witnessed this happen over and over again. Material goods are not the issue in a lot of cases, but it is the culture. And there is a culture that leads to a lack of success, for instance, in these other kids, and to homelessness. A culture that keeps people homeless, and unless you get that culture out of the people, they will likely end up homeless again, even if you gave them $1 million and a free house. So giving them a shack, they will only enable them to remain where they are. So Sun Tzu said, know your enemy. So what is this enemy called homeless culture that keeps homeless people down? So in my experience, when it comes to the economic reasons for being homeless, and then I have no authority to speak on the other reasons, I don't have experience firsthand in my family or any research into the topic, but I feel like I'm pretty authoritative on the economic reasons. But there are 3 broad points. One would be bad financial habits. So basic financing is not habitually practiced. So people a lot of times they just need counseling to instill good habits in order to remove the bad. And it's not their fault, of course. A lot of times they're just not taught this, and growing up, their culture and their family didn't teach them these things. Complacency is another issue that a lot of people have. So many homeless people are just okay with where they are. We can't make it a lifestyle choice, so we have to bring people back into society and help them reintegrate. And then there's the lack of accountability. So they often just choose the handouts over responsibility. And we saw with the Obama phones that they get 700 free minutes, but then by the 10th day, they're gone. Why is that? my guess, and is in my experience, they were talking to their friends, and a lot of times without talking to employers or potential employers. So another thing is these are intrinsically tied together, these three issues. So for any solution to work, it needs to address these problems within the individual. And any one of these problems can land someone on the streets. So they need financial mentorship along with employment opportunities and housing assistance. That coupled with their own investment into their success, and they will learn and want to keep it. No amount of throwing money at it will work. For my family specifically, no governmental or private programs produced any lasting effects. Instead, we need to help each person where they are, mentor them, give them progressively more responsibility and opportunities correlated to their responsibility. Then help instill in them and train into them habits that will last them a lifetime. Otherwise, solutions will be temporary. They need to be invested into these solutions, they themselves, or they won't break the cycle of homelessness. And as mentioned before, it is a cycle. If you don't learn the skills, you'll land back on the streets, back in the car, or living like I did for the first 2 decades of my life. Teach them skills to make them independent, instead of giving them the handouts that will make them dependent.
Yes. And so we're going to meet at the top of time on Lake City. And there, I'm going to say the address. You guys will want to put it in your GPS, but it's right across. It's right adjacent to. It's right next to the parking lot there. So we'll all just meet at that parking lot. No, you probably drive to it. You could probably walk to it. It's at the mall, right? Or anywhere. Yeah, it's probably in that parking lot. But I'm going to read you guys the address if you want to put it in your phone or it's on Lake City Way. So yes, and the actual address is 11701. Gloves might not be ideal for typing. Just an FYI. I tried it, doesn't work that well. Yeah, sure. And then we'll meet there. Don't forget to grab a trash bag, obviously, and make sure you have gloves. And then we'll head out there and we'll just start. So they said yeah. So at the address.
Thank you, dear. Yes. Yes, please. Thank you, sir. I need. Oh, there's two. Yeah, they stick together.
Come out in pairs.
I'm gonna.
These are nice.
It's the little things, right?
Look, they can ask across the hall.
Okay. I have to thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah, definitely my pleasure. As long as it's beneficial.
Right on.
That's a big old bus.
Yeah, it is.
That's donated to us.
That is cool.
Isn't that cool? And it's got like 90,000 miles on it. We just got to get it painted.
I don't know. I like Kid City.